it's Wednesday morning and it's time to talk antiques again, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
We're ready.
We're going to talk about peanuts. You're going to talk about the Coca-Cola Santa Claus, and we're going to talk about some political auction memorabilia that sold some Kennedy stuff, and also we're going to talk about a $23,000 cracker. A cracker.
Imagine
that brought $23,000. So with that, I guess we're going to get started with. Are you going to start out with the peanuts?
We can start out with the peanuts.
Hey, let's go back to this cracker a minute. $23,000 cracker.
Yeah.
Now, what are we talking about? Something like I put in my soup?
Yeah, about the same size as a.
Same thing.
What, they have a picture of somebody in it or something?
Well.
It's got a name stamped on it.
Yeah,
But it's
you're fixing to
You're fixing to get educated.
Yeah, this is a cracker though you probably won't want to eat because it's over 100 years old.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay.
It might be deadly, and for the kind of money it's worth, I wouldn't.
All right, I'll hush and not show my ignorance.
No, you're right though. But hey, just like believe it or not, people's paid a lot of money for like a king and queen's cake, a wedding ceremony cake, and just. Yeah. But this here's the rarest piece that, as far as a cracker, people collect that kind of stuff.
Who made this cracker? Was it a factory or something?
Yeah, it's factory made.
Factory made. Okay.
Yeah, it's a factory made cracker.
We wanna entertain.
I was trying to squeeze it out of you there, Ronnie.
We've got several things we're going to cover, and it'll be Christmas time, and so let me ask you this: if you mention the names Maynard, Sherman, Violet, Gray, and Farron, what does that bring to mind to you?
Well, the last name Farron would be Farron Young. That's all I
know. It brings to mind the peanut.
Yeah, the peanut.
Peanut.
That's right. It might sound like a
okay, Charlie Brown.
School rouster, but it's actually
Charlie Brown. Right, you're right.
Yeah, most dedicated peanut collectors, they'll know who that is. And it's a safe bet that the general public would be more in tune with the Charlie Brown, Snoopy, Lucy, Peppermint Patty, and those characters.
Now that's who I've heard of them.
Right.
My grandbaby made sure of that.
Right.
Well, he made a song about Snoopy, didn't he?
Yeah, they
some
did.
Band did.
Yeah. I would sing a little bit of it, but I don't think people.
Oh, go ahead, Ronnie.
Charlie Brown, you're a clown or something like that.
For many fans, it's hard to believe that Charles Schulz introduced this comic strips to newspaper readers more than 64 years ago, about 64 years ago now. Peanuts.
So it's about 1951 or so?
Something like that. I'm not going to second guess your math because you're usually right. Now, when Schulz died in February of 2000, Peanuts was featured in more than 2,600 newspapers worldwide. Imagine that, 2,600. That's a lot of stuff.
It's a very popular child show, that's for sure.
And in 75 countries and 25 languages.
There's some grown children watching too, huh?
In 1947, the Minneapolis Tribune published 2 comics by Schulz titled Sparky's Little Folks. Now, Sparky was his nickname, was Charles Schulz's nickname. That's what they called him. The same month, the St. Paul Pioneer Press published the strip, which ran until 1950. And he then sold it to United Feature Syndicate, and it was renamed Peanuts. That's when they started calling them Peanuts.
Well, did Schulz rename it Peanuts, or did the syndication?
I think the syndication group renamed them Peanuts, is what I think. That was a name that Schulz, because Schulz never liked that name, so that's why.
Peanuts?
Yeah, I don't think he done that.
No, he probably didn't choose it. But he needed the money probably, so he let him change the name of it.
Right, and that was a big company, United Feature Syndicate back then. They put him in a lot of papers. In '58, Hungerford Plastics Company, they created the first plastic Peanuts figures, and they're some of the most prized collectibles by Peanuts fans now. their values can range from $200 to $300 a character, and there looks like there's about 7 of them, 2, 4.
Let me ask you something,
7
Ronnie.
of them.
When they started doing that, I guess in the 60s, they come out with all those different soapy characters like the Flintstones and all that. I wonder if the Peanut characters got into the soapy, the bottle soaps.
Yeah, they
that you
did.
collect. They did? Okay.
They did, Yeah, and other things too. As the popularity of the Peanuts and the gang grew, more companies sought licensing to promote a product line, including Ford Motor Company and Hallmark Cards. Peanuts were featured on the April 9th, 1965 cover of Time magazine. In December of 65, the first animated special, which they're still playing them, A Charlie Brown Christmas. Every year we see A Charlie Brown Christmas. It wouldn't be Christmas without
Well,
a Charlie
that's
Brown
true.
Christmas.
That's true.
I've been watching it ever
so
since
that
I
falls
was a
right
kid.
in line
50
with,
years ago this year, the 50th anniversary.
Yeah. So that falls in line then with the Wizard of Oz. It's a every year thing. And I'm sure there's other shows like that every year it's going to be on TV.
Right.
So every year the Charlie Brown Christmas is going to be on there.
And to me, it's not Christmas without it.
No.
Let's see here. The show later, it actually won a Peabody Award and an Emmy for Outstanding Children's Programming. For decades, for details about what these collectors seek and for the values achieved in the secondary market for Peanuts merchandise, you need to read Peanuts Collectables Identification and Value Guide. Now that is by Andrea Podley and Derek Bang and published by Collector Books. Now they've got a website. If you're interested in the Peanuts Collectibles, it's www.peanutcollectorclub.com. www.peanutcollectorclub.com.
When I first started actually collecting toys, I'd collected all my life odd and end stuff, but when I really got into the toy side of it, they had books on toys, and like Coca-Cola memorabilia,
Right.
They had books. But what I've learned now with eBay and other direct sales now, those books are behind, and sometimes, to me, what I found about a lot of those toy books, especially Pellicar side of it, it's whatever the collector thought it was worth,
You're exactly right.
You're paying money for a book that kind of is supposed to give you a price or something, but to get that book together, like on Pellicars, they go to Pellicar collectors, and so that's not a true market. If you really want to follow a true market, and I'm not trying to get people not to buy a book or go. But
Because they're good. The books are good for
they're
sources.
references. That's
Right.
all they are. They're just good for references because you really can't. First of all, it takes a while to get it published, and so the prices change, within a year or whatever it takes. But what I found the best way to, if you really want to start tracking something, say toys, pick your toys or peanut. Let's talk about peanut stuff.
Right.
Let's take peanut stuff. Let's go to eBay. Let's see what the stuff is, their asking price, but let's see what it actually sold for, and start you a database on each character.
Right.
What did it sell for this month? What did it sell next month?
And that's what I actually do.
That will give you, after you track it 7 or 8 months, you can get an average price of what the stuff's bringing. Mm-hmm. That's a whole lot better than buying a book that's already behind.
Yeah.
I always bought the books so that to help me identify the toys.
Well, to be honest with you, I bought the book because I thought when I first started collecting the toys, I thought, well, hey, this must be the gospel.
Yeah.
But I found out it wasn't the gospel.
Yeah, after a while you learn.
Yeah.
But they do have their uses. Let's see. What else have we got about the Peanuts here?
Well, you said you're at the point now. You said in '58 that they won all those awards, and then I think our producer said something about it. Didn't you, Philip? Didn't you say there's a new show out on Peanuts?
Well, there's a movie in the theaters right now.
Oh, what is the movie? I haven't seen it.
It's just
Just come out, you say?
No, it's been out for a month.
Been out for a month?
And, well, is it just titled Peanuts, or
I don't know the exact. Yeah,
Is it?
Peanuts and Charlie Brown or something. Yeah.
and you said it was actually, we're talking to the producer who's not mic'd up, but he said it was actually a good movie, and we're talking about a grown man that went to watch it.
Very
Of course,
Yeah, very, very true to the story.
Well,
very
it's
true to the story.
probably like me, grew up with Peanuts, and probably like all of us in here grew up with Peanuts.
Well, you did for sure.
I did for sure. Forbes magazine in 2000, they reported that an auction in 2007. Well, let's see here. Yeah, in 2000, they reported that an auction in 2007 for 6 original Peanuts parcels sold for $190,000. Now, we're talking about artwork now by Charles Schulz, which is worth more than the characters.
You know,
The original artwork.
I do have a little Peanuts character he drew and he signed it. I do have a signature by Charles
Now,
Schulz.
that's what's bringing the money in the Peanuts.
If you
collector's world.
remember, me and you both ended up getting they was going to take the Peanuts out of the one particular newspaper, and we got us the last article. I mean, the last comic
Right,
article.
Yeah, I still have them.
Yeah, me
that.
too.
I remember that.
Think Well,
Radio station.
what else you got on Peanuts? Do you have any sales there, Ronnie, in that article?
No, we don't have a lot of sales. It's mostly talking about what's bringing what. Now, I did tell you about the.
I'll tell you what, let's do. Why don't we take a break, and when we get back, we'll look up and go to our favorite site and see if we can see anything that's sold. You want to do that?
There you go.
We would like to thank Dr. David Florence for supporting Let's Talk Antiques. See Dr. Florence at 804 Kalon Street in Manchester for all of your medical needs. Call 728-5522 for your appointment today. Most insurances accepted.
The Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester has been voted as having the best hamburgers in Manchester. Hometown atmosphere, historical memorabilia, and of course those great burgers, salads, chicken, and so much more. It's the Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester. Call in orders at 728-4452. You can also order at the convenient outdoor curb service. Hamburgers are made the old-fashioned way at the Jiffy Burger, Manchester's finest hamburgers. Open 7:30 until 9, Monday through Saturday.
All right.
You had one more thing you wanted to say and then we got some. We went and looked up some Peanut characters.
The only other thing that I wanted to mention about this Charles Schulz, his original artwork, is when you're buying this stuff, you need to just let the buyer beware, because there's a lot of reproductions out there.
Imagine that.
Yeah, just like everything else.
Yeah.
There's a lot of portraits.
That's one reason I got rid of most of my pedal cars, because they started making reproductions.
Especially on eBay and Craigslist, you need to be really careful when you can't confirm the lineage of an item.
Yes.
That's the only other
You
thing
can
I
get
wanted
burnt pretty bad in this stuff. You don't know what you're doing,
Philip,
I'm
what have
sure.
you found?
to mention on that.
Now,
Signed original comic strip.
okay, here's a signed original comic strip. Here.
A signed original comic strip from Charles Schulz. $25,000 sold for.
That's what I said. There's the money in the.
What else, Philip?
And
Peanuts
then
world.
another one for $15,000.
Now, these are signed comic strips.
Right. And then some other artwork. It drops down to like $2,000 for
Like
those.
what is it?
Signed drawings of characters and things, but not actual.
Snoopy characters?
Not the actual comic strips. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but
just
still,
drawings that
$2,000?
Charles Schulz did and signed for $2,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Keith, you've looked up some. We was talking about the 1958. That's when they come out with the characters, the plastic characters. And what have you found?
I found an original vintage 1958 figure of Schroeder with a piano. $650. Snoopy vinyl figure 1958 is $350. And Pigpen 1958 is $250. Then it's just some cheaper ones. $76 for a smaller Snoopy vintage,
Yeah.
1958. Linus and Lucy $71. Another Snoopy rubber for $65. A rubber figure, which back then rubber was a lot. I don't know if that was the right decade. The rationing's 1958.
No, it's not.
That'd been way
That was
before.
during the war.
Yeah, that'd been way before.
That's in the 40s when the
40s, okay. Wrong decade. 65 for that.
uh-huh.
$60, $50, 45. Who's
Well-
this one? Linus by himself went for $35.
Probably cost 20 cents, 25 cents
Yeah.
at the dime store.
And then some cheaper ones, $5 and $10.
Yeah. Pretty good little investment, though.
Especially, you know,
One's still in the
I would
package.
like to have a lot of that original
Oh,
artwork.
he said one's still in the package.
But it's
What?
only $6.
Huh?
It's
What year
$6 in
is
the
it?
package.
1966.
66? That's still
That's still
that's amazing.
A golf.
I would buy
A
that,
golf
just have
figure.
it.
Snoopy playing golf.
Well,
Because, you know, and another thing about when you're running that stuff on eBay, if you run stuff 2 or 3 times, you know, you're going to get different people looking at it. You get the right person looking at it, and it'll bring the money.
well, you got millions of people looking at your item on eBay. You know, and that's what's you know I was talking about earlier. If you want to see the real price of stuff, and of course eBay isn't the only place to look. You know, but it's kind of hard to travel around to all these different auctions and start
Right.
taking notes. I'm on the lazy side, so I use the
stick with
eBay side. Yeah, me too.
That's what I know. That's where I've been.
Yeah, me too.
But I have found that, you know, I can run stuff more than once, and when the right person sees it, you know, they'll buy it.
You can actually
And
put
you
it in
can
your
get what you
store.
want.
You create a store on eBay and actually just list it for 30 days at a time or whatever. I
Or
don't
you
know
can
what.
leave it in there, you
Yeah.
know, and not pay anything until
You're
it
right. It's
sells.
all about timing.
It's all about timing and who sees it and who needs it to complete their collection.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get you, Ray. We're gonna have to get you a computer and get you set up so you can look up all this bluegrass stuff. You're gonna be surprised.
Oh Lord,
Yeah.
there's no telling what that bluegrass stuff
Yeah.
brings. I bet some
And
of it brings big
No
money.
telling what you know us.
Well, if anybody wants to get rich off of it, I got plenty for sale.
We were going to talk. It's close to Christmas time now. We were going to talk about Santa Claus and Coca-Cola. And I don't know if a lot of people know it or not, but
Keith, go to Coca-Cola. Santa Claus Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola actually originated Santa Claus as we know him today.
Well, that's about right. I agree with you.
The Santa Claus that we know today, the big jolly man in the red suit, you know, with
Yeah,
the white
big
beard.
white beard.
He didn't always look that way. You know, a lot of people would be surprised to learn that prior to 1931,
Is that when the Coca-Cola come out with him?
evidently,
31. Okay.
he was depicted as everything from like a tall, gaunt man to a spooky-looking elf. You know, that's what I remember seeing drawings of him. You know, in a green suit as an elf with a beard. You know, but sometimes he had on a bishop's robes or animal skins.
Yeah.
Or
And had the bishop hat.
right. You know, he was never just worn
Well,
away.
if you think about it, I mean, he's got a red suit on. So what is Coca-Cola red?
Coca-Cola Red, that's right. But Santa Claus, let's see here, what was I going to say? In fact, when the Civil War cartoonist Thomas Nash drew him for Harper's Weekly in 1862, he was a small elf-like creature, but he supported the Union during the war.
So
You know,
Santa Claus was busy, huh?
Santa Claus.
He's been a
had-
real busy character. In fact, Santa Claus, the Catholic Church, that's Saint Nick.
Yeah.
Thing has something to do with their.
That's the bishop. That's where he's got his bishop robes in for them. But Natch continued to draw Santa for about 30 years, changing the color of his coat from tan to the red that he's known for today.
Also, he actually drew a red coat on him.
Yes, he drew
I know
a red
one thing.
coat.
I've seen some ugly Santa Clauses and some of these old things. I mean, ugly.
I have to say,
yeah.
the Coca-Cola one is the sharpest one I've ever seen.
Yeah, and the
Yeah,
Coca-Cola Company began its Christmas advertising in the 1920s with like shopping related ads in magazines like, the Saturday Evening Post. And the first Santa ads they used strict looking Santa Claus like Thomas Nash used to draw him. But then in 1930, Fred Mitson painted a department store Santa in a crowd drinking a bottle of Coke. And the ad featured the world's largest soda fountain at the time, and it was located in the department store's bar company in St. Louis, Missouri. And his paintings were used in the print ads for that Christmas season in the Saturday Evening Post of 1930. And then in 31, the company began placing ads in popular magazines, Archie Lee, but the Darcy Advertising Agency executive working with the Coca-Cola Company watched the campaign to show they wanted their campaign to show a wholesome Santa Claus who was realistic and symbolic. So the Coca-Cola Company commissioned Haddon Sundblom. Now he's the guy that developed the Santa Claus as we know him today. His images using Santa Claus, showing Santa himself, not a man dressed as Santa, started out with. Now, he changed him several times over the years. But for inspiration, he turned to Clement Clark Moore's 1922 poems, A Visit from St. Nicholas, which we all know was the night before Christmas. Yeah. To show the warm, friendly, pleasant, plump human Santa. And even though it's often said that Santa wears a red coat because the color red is the color of Coca-Cola, Santa appeared in a red coat before Sundblom painted him, which we were talking about a while ago with the Civil War paintings. Sundblom's Santa debuted in 1931 in Coke ads in the Saturday Evening Post and appeared regularly in that magazine, as well as the Ladies' Home Journal, National Geographic, The New Yorker, and other magazines. And from 31 to 64, Coca-Cola advertising showed Santa delivering toys and playing with them, pausing to read letters from children, and enjoying a Coke, of course, and the cookies. But now Sundblom created the final version of Santa Claus in 1964. But for several decades to follow, Coca-Cola advertising featured images of Santa based on Sundblom's original works. And these paintings are some of the most prized pieces in the art collection in the company's archives department and have been on exhibit around the world. They've been in the Louvre in Paris, the Royal Ontario Museum in Toronto, the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago. They've been in Tokyo. They've been all over the world, those paintings of Santa Claus that he done.
Well, they make him look like an old man been eating too many Twinkies now. And we got all these
had the
exercise
rosy
programs.
cheeks. I'll tell you what, let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll see what kind of homework Keith's got done for us.
The Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester has been voted as having the best hamburgers in Manchester. Hometown atmosphere, historical memorabilia, and of course those great burgers, salads, chicken, and so much more. It's the Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester. Call in orders at 728-4452. You can also order at the convenient outdoor curb service. Hamburgers are made the old-fashioned way at the Jiffy Burger, Manchester's finest hamburgers. Open 7:30 until 9, Monday through Saturday.
We would like to thank Dr. David Florence for supporting Let's Talk Antiques. See Dr. Florence at 804 Kalon Street in Manchester for all of your medical needs. Call 728-5522 for your appointment today. Most insurances accepted.
All right, we're back, and Ronnie's got a couple more things before Keith gives us a price on a few Coca-Cola Santa Clauses, and then you're going to talk also about just some Christmas.
Right. We're gonna talk about just some Christmas items, some vintage Christmas items. But the other thing I wanted to talk about was the way that Sunbloom painted. The way he came up with his Santa Claus. In the beginning, he painted the image of Santa using a live model, which was a friend of his named Lou Prentice, who was a retired salesman. And when he passed away, he used himself as a model. Now, he would use himself as a model looking in a mirror, so when you look in a mirror, stuff's backwards, So people love the Coca-Cola Santa images, that he had been painting before, and they paid such close attention to him that when anything changed, they started sending letters to the Coca-Cola company about the changes. And one year, Santa's the large black belt that Santa wears, it was backwards, and I think that was because
of him looking in the mirror.
Himself in the mirror.
He may not have been in good shape when he was painting that either.
Well, that it was later on in the years, But I thought that was pretty funny. Then another year, Santa Claus appeared without his wedding ring, and then fans started writing and wanted to know what happened to Mrs. Claus. They thought Mrs. Claus had died, and but now the dog in Sunbloom's '64 Santa Claus was actually a gray poodle that belonged to the neighboring florist. It's a florist that lived down the road from him. But Sunbloom wanted the dog to stand out in the holiday scene, so he painted the animal with black fur, which, was kind of funny, I thought.
I noticed there you got Santa Claus got a new friend in 1942. That's when I was born. Maybe I'm the one they're talking about there.
Yeah.
They may have been.
You must have been the new friend.
You might have been Sprite Boy. That was when they came out with Sprite, so they gave him a friend, Sprite Boy.
Yeah. I have a Sprite Boy bag holder.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I mean, he looks like, you probably need to tell people what the little Sprite Boy looks like. He looks like an elf. Got those ears and everything just like an elf.
He does. I'm glad you told me, because I didn't think about that. But I do have some vintage Christmas stuff that I looked up, and there are a few very interesting items, I thought. One we'll talk a little about in detail, but the first one was a 7-foot Starlight aluminum Christmas tree. Now, this was from 1965.
Yeah, that vintage Christmas tree stuff is expensive.
It sure is. And
even the ornaments, Ronnie.
The ornaments.
I wish I still had some of that.
Yeah.
I've thrown out enough.
Well, wait till you hear the price, and you'll wish you hadn't thrown it out.
And the German ornaments, there used to be a lot of ornaments come over from Germany, and during the war, they banned that stuff, and it got rare.
Well, we couldn't buy something from somebody who was fighting, could we?
No, we couldn't hardly do that. That'd be helping them too much. But anyway, that tree brought $3,153.
Wow.
You wish you hadn't thrown it away, right?
Oh, yes. I'm sick.
There was another vintage mid-century, probably 50s, 7-foot evergleam, not evergreen now, evergleam aluminum pink Christmas tree bow. In the box, it had for about $1,801. We have a Susan Milford vintage collectible nutcracker chimney sweep. Remember the nutcracker?
Yeah.
And he brought $1,025. And then we had a lot of just old Christmas ornaments, the balls and the striped bells and.
Like a group of it.
There were several items in there. There's.
Have you looked at the prices of these trees they putting out now pre-lit? Man, you better open your bill
Well, we've got the same tree we've had for probably 25 or 30 years.
I know. I wish I'd have kept mine.
Yeah, well, Nancy, I have to say one thing.
She takes care of that stuff.
She does take care of her stuff.
But anyway, the lot of ornaments brought $968.
And we're talking about miscellaneous ornaments, right?
Just miscellaneous ornaments, from the 50s. But now, the one thing that really caught my attention was I found a vintage animated mechanical display. This thing is 4 foot 48 inches tall, and it has Santa Claus playing a piano with 2 mice dancing on the top of it. It was by Silvestri, and it brought $950. But now, it was, I got a little detail about it. Like I was saying, it was an animated, it was a store display figure made by Silvestri Art Displays. The dog dressed as Santa plays the piano while the 2 mice on the top dance and play the accordion. The mice each have side-to-side head movements, so their heads move, and their arms.
Just like yours just did when you was talking about
Right, and their arms holding their accordions, yeah. And the dog has both hands side to side, and his head goes side to side, and his body moves. There was a little damage to the keyboard, and his left arm slid across the loose keys. There was most of the missing ones were included with a piece from his arm, so he had a little piece missing from his left arm.
Yeah.
It needed adjusting a bit, and that's something they thought they could fix. But it was 48 inches tall and 36 inches wide. So
That's a big piece.
that would be a nice piece to have.
Yeah.
Because you could set that in a little room, and that'd be a good
Or
conversation
set it in front of a
piece.
window.
Yeah, or set it in front of a big window.
A picture window or something.
But that would be a nice conversation piece. I found a vintage satin disc ornament. Now we're talking about just one ball here now. From
But it's
1968. It's satin, yeah. So whatever satin does to it, but it sold for $950. One ball, $950.
That's enough to make you cry.
There's a lot of our listeners I know that have vintage Christmas stuff, Halloween stuff, Thanksgiving stuff.
Yep.
This stuff we
Just
have
about bet on it.
probably passed
They're like Nancy,
over
they
and
save their
over in flea markets and
Yeah.
antique shops. We probably just walked all over this stuff because I'm not looking for Christmas ornaments.
No, you're looking for Star Wars stuff.
Right, I need to be looking for Christmas
You'll step
ornaments.
on $1,000 Christmas ornament to get that $2 Star Wars
I
piece. once in a while.
guarantee it.
Star Wars Christmas, man.
I found another one ornament here now, and it's also satin. June Zimmock, number 118, Charmaine, now this is 1985, it's not that old.
Yeah.
Brought $950. Okay, now I also found a rare vintage working Paramount revolving bubble light Christmas tree. Now this is a little Christmas tree that goes around in a circle.
It's not that tall, is it?
It's not big at all.
It looks like 30 inches or something.
Yeah, I didn't pull the details up on that one, but it brought $911.
Well, it's sitting on a table, so it can't be too tall.
It can't be too tall at all. Maybe 2 foot tall.
Yeah, maybe something about like a lamp.
But it's just I don't know what's so special about it, but it brought $911.
How many bids did it have?
It had 35 bids. There was a lot of interest.
So that tells you that it must have been a rare piece, Ronnie, to have that many bids. Mm-hmm. Because it wasn't a buy it now, so.
No, wasn't to buy it now. There was a lot of people looking
Yeah,
for it.
there's some people after that one.
What about
What's
your
that next one down there, the little soldier guy?
He's a professional toy soldier, one like in the Nutcracker series.
Right.
He's actually is a Nutcracker, Disneyland Parade. He was listed for $1,200, but they took the best offer. I don't know what the best offer was on that, but it had to be close.
It had to be around 1,000.
Mm-hmm. Had to be close.
Yeah, there's not going to be that much of a variance.
Here's a German piece. a nativity figurine scene. They took the best offer on it. It was listed for $1,500, so it had to sell somewhere close to
You know,
that.
I saw an interesting thing over the news the other night. Somewhere up in Minnesota, they had a nativity scene up in the city, and of course the atheists come along, didn't like it, and they had to take it down. The city took it down. Every member in that whole town just about put a nativity scene out in their front yard.
Well, that's
To show them.
Protest.
Yes.
That
I thought
they
that was
would do
wonderful Christmas. For
Yeah.
people to really hear what Christmas is about.
Getting together. Yeah, but I have found that the German stuff, really brings the money. I've got a, here's another one of those evergreen aluminum Christmas
Well,
trees.
and I guess the gleam part comes, Ronnie, because it's shiny. Once the light hits it,
Right.
it makes it gleam, don't it?
Gleams.
It being aluminum.
It's just aluminum.
They
yeah.
were beautiful.
Now this one's with the box and the stand. It brought $834.
Lord.
I've got a 5'2" goose feather Christmas tree. This is a West German piece. Rare, Macy's department store, brought $800. A Carpathia, made in Italy nativity, complete set, brought $800. That was a buy it now. I got another nativity set from the 1960s, Australian Woodworkers Guild, brought $799. A vintage snowman, Large Polk Brothers, Chicago Blow Mold, 1963. That's the year I was born. He brought $789. So this old Christmas stuff is worth a lot of money.
You know, it's amazing what Christmas does to little children.
Oh.
I can remember my youngest boy, Terry. He's bondsman here in town now. He won't appreciate me saying this on town, it probably. But I can remember when he was a little bitty fella, he said, I can hear Santa Claus up on the roof now. I heard him. And buddy, he was sincere.
Well, he probably did hear it.
Yeah, he did.
Did you take him out to look, see if he was there?
No, it's too cold.
It took over for you to get out on that.
Keith, Coca-Cola Santa Claus.
Found a couple of them. The coolest one I found was a green Santa Claus. Vintage 50s, Rushton Company Coca-Cola plush green Santa. $255. Very rare, it says.
Oh.
I think it has to be.
Yeah, I've never seen a green Santa
Me
Claus.
neither.
They got a Matchbox car, Santa Claus, Coca-Cola Studebaker, 1938. Sold for $412.
Wow.
Matchbox car, it's crazy. Then just the simple stuff. There's a plush Santa Claus with boots, $325. A light up, stand up, litho Coca-Cola. Looks like just a sign, $169. And then a vintage M&M Creations Santa Claus Coca-Cola bottle signed sculpture for $125.
That's something different.
1959 calendar Santa Claus Coca-Cola went for $200. Happy holidays from Coca-Cola. A black Santa Claus was $127. Coca-Cola. And there's one more.
You know, Coca-Cola made a lot of cardboard stand-up Santa Clauses
Yeah.
because you'd see them in the stores. You know that you see them. All the grocery stores had them.
The calendars are there's a $50 calendar.
Yeah.
Small desk calendar. And then a big full-size calendar for a couple of them for $100. 1953.
The calendars are really hard to find because they would tear the pages out
Yeah,
of them.
hard to find a
You know,
complete
they-
calendar.
Right, they would tear the month out and throw it away.
Saturday Evening Post with Santa Claus on it. Just $20.
Hey, Keith, stay on the completed auction side of the sold and type in. You already got the Coca-Cola part. Put Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola Santa Claus tray. You already got the Coca-Cola Santa Claus in there, I think. Just add tray to it and see if any Coca-Cola trays come up.
$100.
Okay.
For the Coca-Cola tray. What
There's
kind of
one
tray
by
is it?
itself. There's a 1998 tray for $25.
What about the $100 one? Does it say when it was made?
It's a lot of stuff. It's a cookie jar, it's a tray, it's a metal Santa, napkin holders.
Huh. All Coca-Cola?
I believe so.
What's the description say there?
Coke lot as shown. Most
Yeah.
items like new, some are brand new. Some of these are collectibles at least 20 years old.
But that lot brought $100.
$100 for all
I
of
think that's one
it.
that slipped through the cracks.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, it's where'd the picture go? Oh yeah, there's glasses and trays and they're like the soda fountain glasses.
Yeah.
Salt and pepper shakers, cans, coffee cups. Looks like there's 20, 30 pieces.
Well, that sounds like a bargain.
Yeah, that's.
All right, let's go back to that. You got to your other completed auctions there. Do we need to take another break or?
We got one more whenever.
Okay, go ahead and won't you finish up some of that Coca-Cola stuff there? The Santa Claus. Is that the only tray you seen?
I believe so. I saw there were one tray from 1998 was $25.
Yeah.
There's a 50th anniversary Big Bear grocery store Santa Claus tray for $20. Vintage coasters for $30, a set of those. The paper coasters.
Right.
A rare.
Put on a bar and throw them away.
That's a thermometer, a Christmas thermometer.
Ronnie said those coasters are things you put on a bar and throw away.
Oh yeah. The rare 1998 Christmas Santa Claus Coca-Cola thermometer for $25.
Yeah, I remember them.
There's another tray for $15. A couple trays for $10 and $12.
So if you wanted a Coca-Cola Santa Claus tray that you could set up for Christmas time, if you're a Coca-Cola collector, you can buy those pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
Those aren't too bad. $10 shipping, $20. You can find trays on here.
A nice tray.
And oh yeah.
Just make good displays.
Biggest one was the $100 lot.
All right. Let's take a break. When we get back, we're going to tell you about that $23,000 cracker. Ronnie's going to tell you about it.
The Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester has been voted as having the best hamburgers in Manchester. Hometown atmosphere, historical memorabilia, and of course those great burgers, salads, chicken, and so much more. It's the Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester. Call in orders at 728-4452. You can also order at the convenient outdoor curb service. Hamburgers are made the old-fashioned way at the Jiffy Burger, Manchester's finest hamburgers. Open 7:30 until 9, Monday through Saturday.
We would like to thank Dr. David Florence for supporting Let's Talk Antiques. See Dr. Florence at 804 Kalon Street in Manchester for all of your medical needs. Call 728-5522 for your appointment today. Most insurances accepted.
All right. We were talking about a $23,000 cracker. Now, that's no crumb.
Good point. Good
You ought to
point,
be a
Ronnie.
stand-up, Ronnie.
I know it. A wheat biscuit. Now, this wheat biscuit survived the sinking of the Titanic. It was discovered in a survivor's kit in one of the lifeboats and sold at an auction to a Greek collector last month for $23,000. And that's what was amazing, that it survived for that long intact.
It's only like 3.5 inches square, wasn't it?
Yeah, just a little small
Now,
cracker.
Why did it survive, Ronnie?
Okay. It survived because it was put up by one of the persons that found it in a Kodak photographer's envelope, and he wrote a note on the envelope, and it said, "Pilot biscuit from Titanic lifeboat, April 1912." That's what it said on the note. Okay. And him and his wife, they were on their honeymoon when they jumped in, to help
But they
save
was in
the
their honeymoon
survivors.
on the
On the
Carpathia.
Carpathia. The Carpathia is the ship that actually came to the Titanic's aid, after it hit the iceberg. And later on, it was sunk by a German U-boat.
So the cracker actually came off of the Titanic.
It
Right.
came out of a survivor kit.
Yeah, you know, they had-
off of
Yeah.
the life raft. You
Yeah,
know,
they
when-
had survivor kits.
When you got in those, they had little.
We got a
kits to
call?
keep them alive.
Had a call. He didn't want to go on. Wondering about 1800s coins, maybe from the Titanic or just in general, if y'all knew
Well,
anything about
I tell
it.
you what, he can give John Hirschman a call on those coins. It's 273-4252.
There you go.
And just tell him that the boys from Let's Talk Antiques gave his phone number out.
Perfect.
273-4252, John Hirschman.
Okay, now that
We'll try and put a picture of the cracker on our Facebook page if anyone wants to see it.
Are you going to do that?
Yeah, I'm going to do that right now.
there
Do you have
go.
a picture of it?
I'll Google it.
I can give it to you. The 103-year-old cracker was estimated before the auction to fetch between $1,100 and $1,500. You know, but it sold to I believe it was a German collector. Went to a Mediterranean collector for $22,968. It's the world's most valuable biscuit.
Yeah.
Of course.
How much time we have, Keith?
About a minute or two.
Okay, so we're not really going to have much time to get into the. There's a couple more items that sold at that same auction, the
Right.
Titanic. We might have to finish them up. Maybe you could do one of the items. Do the Molly Brown.
Okay, there was a silver cup presented by Molly Brown to the captain of the rescue ship, the Carpathia, and it brought $230,000 in a major UK auction. And it had a top estimate of $92,736.
Keith, do we have enough time to mention one more item?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For Titanic.
One more item, Ronnie, and then we
Yeah.
got to get out of here. Tell them about the one where the guy took the picture of the iceberg, and it actually had the paint. It showed the paint that had come off of the Titanic when it hit it, and they used that in a lawsuit, right?
Right, they did, and that brought $32,000. It was snapped by the chief steward aboard the German I can't hardly pronounce the name.
Well, it's a German ship.
It was a German ship, of course.
But they used this picture once they took it. The attorneys that was
to show that the paint actually came.
and that
from
was the only
Titanic
picture ever taken that they know of, right?
that they know.
And
of.
it stayed in that lawyer's office. Was it like for 100 years or something? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'm right on that. Or,
It was a 16 by 20 inch photo. The law firm of Burlington, Montgomery, and Beecher.
they're the ones that represented the people that lost their lives.
It stayed in
the
their
families.
office for 90 years.
Okay, 90 years.
Until the firm shut down in 2002.
And then that brought how much?
Brought $32,000
For a picture.
For a picture.
With that, Keith, we're going to get out of here so you can do your swap and shop.